Hey, what's up, everybody? I figured, in light of the disappointing, reaction to what I thought of the Halloween 40th anniversary film, which, served as a, direct sequel to the, original Halloween, and thus by ignoring the sequels, but instead, I'd figured I'd talk about a more superior Halloween anniversary film, which is Halloween H20, and I can't believe that came out like over 20 years ago. When I can't believe I was like what 10 going on 11 at the time, and I think it still holds up pretty well. I mean, I would say one of the few complaints I had about H20 was the decision to disregard the continuity of Halloween 4, 5, and 6 and placing them in an alternate timeline, which I thought was kind of dumb because you know, Danielle Harris did a pretty good job, playing the role of Jamie in Halloween 4 and 5. And even though 6 was kind of a, bit of a mess, even though I would say, personally, the producer's cut was better. But I think, H2O could have found an effective way, you know, to tie, the continuity of the last three films into it together, even though, I kind of understand that they wanted to, focus, on Laurie Strode's character. And of course, what made that movie particularly special, besides the fact it was the 20th anniversary of the original Halloween movie, it also brought back, Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie Strode for the first time since, Halloween 2. And of course, you know, in this particular installment, Laurie kind of, faked her death and, went into hiding and lives in a, Hillcrest, California, where she's a headmistress of the Hillcrest, Academy with her son, John, which, happens to be the film debut of, Josh, Hartnett, who plays her son. And of course, what's cool about this one, it also brings back Sam Loomis's nurse Marion Chambers, played by Nancy Stevens in the first two Halloween movies. And of course, this is the first Halloween movie not to feature Donald Pleasance as, Samuel Loomis, since of course Donald Pleasance, sadly passed away after filming, The Curse of, Michael Myers. And so in a sense, his absence, kind of felt. I mean, I would say one of the few things I would say about Halloween H2O, that a few things I probably would have done different. Like I said, I would have had, Halloween 4, 5, or 6, in continuity. And it would have been interesting to see, Laura's reaction upon finding about, Jamie's death, or whether she knew about it, and, other things. And would have been cool to kind of go, into the backstory, of Haddonfield and things like that. But I thought, the film did a pretty good job of focusing on Laurie's trauma and, of course, her fear that, knowing that one day Michael Myers would return to, come for her and her son. But, of course, one of the interesting aspects in the movie, is kind of like, how, the victim becomes, the, the hunter, like, and things like that. So it's kind of interesting to see Laurie, turn the tables on Michael, and I think, in my personal opinion, serves as a nice conclusion to the Halloween, franchise, and a way of having Laurie finally overcoming her fears and putting them to rest. And that would be my particular reaction of it. I mean, I would have I would have made the movie maybe a little bit longer, had a little bit more kills, and things like that. But I still think it's, maybe not quality wise like the first two Halloween movies, but it's at least watchable and more interesting, much better than say Halloween 5, and 6. And of course, it was great to bring Jamie Lee Curtis back in her, signature role. So that would be my verdict on that particular movie. And I still think to this day it serves as the true ending to the series. And I always pretend Halloween Resurrection doesn't exist because, of course, in that particular movie they gave, Laurie a rather crappy send off. But that's just my thoughts. Okay, everyone, thanks for hearing what I had to say about it, and feel free to share.